A $5 super thanks from CJ DeYoung III. Says, yes, this is a reference to like trades and stuff. Please go do something. Edge or corner. Is Tank available? Seriously, thank you. DeMarcus Lawrence is not available. Like, now, within a reasonable price tag, if you called the Seahawks and said, hey, we'll give you a first-round pick for Tank Lawrence, they'd say yes. Doesn't make any sense for you to do that. The realistic available player is, no, he's not available. Seattle's good. I mean, their defense has been awesome this year, by the way. Mike McDaniel is a wizard on defense. But, like, realistically, no, he is not available. Other edges, other corners, yes. In Seattle, I do think Riq Woolen, for example, is on the market. Now, if you want entered into our weekly raffles, all you have to do for each game day is send in a $5 super thanks. Get you into our raffles each and every single week. Or super chats also count. From Skeptical Fan, if every team doesn't play their two best receivers, our defense has a chance to play great. That is a very valid point or thing to point out about the Cowboys and the Commanders. They didn't have McLaurin or Samuel or even Noah Brown. I also think that the quarterback did not play well in that game. Daniels had guys open and he missed them. It's still progress. It's also why you can't just assume they're now great on defense. And even 20 points allowed isn't the greatest showing necessarily, although the game was over for a while. Marcus Arnold says, thanks. Tony Banks is the ultimate Cowboys legend. Banks lasted, 6 months or so? And then they went with Quincy Carter, and Banks was, I think it's the Commanders picked him up. But I always like it when it's like the guy lasted for 6 months, like, Clinton Dix is the defensive version of Tony Banks. In reference to the Maxx Crosby trade, CJ DeYoung says, didn't believe it for a second, but seriously, thank you. Appreciate that, CJ. Cheers to you, my friend. The Crosby trade in general was always a pipe dream, but it was fun at least because he's an awesome player. From Tyrell Smoochie Wallace, I guess we're going Key and Peele in the comments today. Dallas said they weren't trading Minkah, so why can't the Raiders do the same thing? Look, there's a huge difference here in that one player wanted out. That's the difference. I know we all kind of didn't want it to be true, but Minkah did request the trade. This isn't like player A, wants out and player B decides they don't want him and team B doesn't want him anymore. Like this was, the Raiders don't want to trade Maxx Crosby. Maxx Crosby doesn't want to be traded. So you'd have to blow them away to make a deal happen. Everyone got mad when Mitch and I did the 2 1s and more for the trade, but like this is the price of making them say no to you. A first and Sam Williams doesn't do anything for the Raiders. Like, you have to do a lot more than that. So what is the % chance the Cowboys trade for Maxx Crosby? Let me know in the comments section of today's show. I think it's always been low. It's fun. I think it's 0, frankly, but I know how everyone operates, so go vote in the comments. From Brendan, Houston needs offense. Cowboys need defense. Trade an offensive lineman for Lassiter, or I think you mean Devin Singletary. Unfortunately, we have to go to the meme. Producer Aiden. We have to go to the meme. Brendan's my guy, but you're right that Houston needs defense. Or needs offense, excuse me. But this is like the Cowboys version of trading George Pickens for Christian Harris. Like, you're not getting 2 very good or one of their best defensive players or a top 3 corner in football for players you don't want anymore. Like, TJ Bass and Jalen Tolbert is not getting you Derek Stingley. That's who you meant. It's not getting you Lassiter or Jalen Petrie. It's just like, Houston's not doing that. Like, they need offensive line, yes, but you have to give a hell of a lot more. Like, honestly, the cost of Derek Stingley is 2 1s and more. Like, that would be the price tag. And Houston just paid him. It's just not going to happen. William Cook, I wonder if you keep the Green Bay first, trade it for another first in 2027, and use the 3 firsts to trade up and take a top QB. That wouldn't make any sense, though, if Dak's playing like this. Like, that, if something happens or injuries or whatever, and you need a quarterback, that is a valid plan. But if your quarterback's playing well, and with the way quarterbacks can play forever these days, and his playing stock should just translate to, if he can stay healthy, knock on wood, big question mark, then it makes sense. But if he's healthy and playing well, like, you're going to use those assets for the plays. I do like the idea of getting another 2027 first, though. I do like that idea. If you can pull off what the Rams did last year, trade down, get an extra one, I am all for that idea. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on Prize Picks, where it is good to be right. You can get in on the action in more than 40 states, including California, Georgia, and Texas. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. This is the Flex Play producer Aiden cooked up for you guys. CeeDee Lamb more than receiving yards. Courtland Sutton, same. Dak Prescott more than 1.5 passing TDs. Javonte Williams more than 15.5 rushing attempts. If you haven't already, go download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. From Fernando, can we trade for Crosby and Hendrickson? Definitely not both of them. And almost assuredly not either of them. The Bengals don't view themselves as sellers. Now, if you were to come to either team and go, we'll give you everything you want. We'll give you 2 firsts and a second for Maxx Crosby. Oh, maybe they do it then. If you give the Bengals a first, a second for Trey Hendrickson, they might do it then. But, like, those teams don't want to trade those players. They're not sellers. The Raiders are sellers, but not for their best player, who's a Raider. He's got tattoos of the Raiders. Like, he is Las Vegas. And Hendrickson, the Bengals are going to beat the Jets, and they're going to be 500 and right in the mix of the AFC North. So, like, I don't think either guy is getting dealt this season. From Steve-O, I don't think Diggs is 100% recovered, and Eberflus is compensating by running zone to preserve Diggs' trade value. First off, guys, there is no Diggs trade value because he's been bad in zone. Diggs, I don't think he's back to the same form. Whether he's healthy or not, like, putting him in a bad defensive scheme for his play style doesn't preserve his trade value. Eberflus is running zone because he wants to play more zone. Diggs somehow got himself concussed. He would have been better in man coverage had they been out there doing that. And I don't think there's some grand conspiracy with Diggs. The team has made it very clear. They did back to training camp that they are mad at Diggs. They are frustrated by him. He came back sooner than they thought he was going to. Is he the same guy he was in his prime? I don't think so. I feel like he's lost a half step. But I don't think they're trying to save his trade value because there isn't any. From SpongeBob SquareDance, does Riq Woolen make sense for Dallas? I think he does. I was actually surprised he wasn't a Cowboy draft pick given how far he fell. I don't know why he fell. The length, the athletic ability very much fit the Dallas Cowboys mold. I think he's much better in man than zone, so I do wonder how he fits the Matty Eberflus scheme. I also wonder, he's going to be a free agent. He wants to get paid. Like, are you going to pay him? And if he's just a rental, how much are you willing to give up for him? So will the Cowboys make a trade? Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in for me in the comments section of today's show. From Bust714, can we just add Kendricks and Gilmore? You can. It's also October, and I think going the free agent market at this point with the guys that nobody else wants might not actually fix your defense. I do think Gilmore would actually be a decent fit in zone. He's smart enough to handle it. But I wonder if those guys actually help you out. I think that some of the upgrades, I wonder if corner they feel okay about. Because Carson's back, I think actually does fit decently in zone. Savone Rebel should be back in November. I don't know if that's going to be the path. Abja Pawar, why does Dak look like his 2016 self? What changed? He doesn't look like his 2016 self. He looks like his 2023 self. Honestly, the 2016 Dak was great. 2023 was better. He was doing more things with less support. People, I think, just get caught up in like the TD interception ratio and not just like the level of command he has over the offense. I think Dak, honestly, guys, maybe last year was just the outlier season. Maybe that's what happened. Daniel, what about this trade idea? Cowboys get Minkah Fitzpatrick and Jalen Phillips and a 2026 third for the Dolphins for a second, a fourth, and a 2027 fourth. Thoughts on this? I don't think you're getting a third back from them. I think you're getting greedy there, Daniel. Because moving down from a late second to an early third, like that doesn't move the needle for Miami. That just becomes 2 fours for those guys, which maybe isn't that far off from the trade value. I don't know what those guys' true trade value is. I like the idea of Minkah Fitzpatrick. I know the Cowboys had interest the first time he was traded. I think that original Minkah trade, by the way, whether I put it in a show or not, but like that, when the Steelers, who were not that good, you have a first one, I was like, damn, I don't know about that one. That was a lot for them to give up, but he was a long-term piece. If you're making a big splashy trade, that type of trade is the one I would have interest in this year's version for the Cowboys. I don't know how much it costs to get Minkah and Phillips, but I think those are 2 good players as well. I like that one. I like it. So if you want to be featured on future Cowboys mailbags, subscribe, tune in, and ask any questions you have. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Rika Gray, Fish said earlier the Bengals don't have with Hendrickson, and he's not with them either. I believe I have a chance to get him. Honestly, I don't think you do. Now, look, if the Bengals lose against the Jets, I am willing to revisit this conversation. And being unhappy, which they were in the offseason very clearly with each other. No doubts about that. He's requested a trade twice. There's issues there. But being unhappy in the offseason is different than, shoot, we are a game away from being 500, playing the worst team in the NFL. We just upset Pittsburgh. The schedule's doable down the stretch. The Bengals don't view themselves as sellers. If they did view themselves as a selling franchise, I think that'd be a different conversation with Hendrickson. I don't think they want to sell. Again, check in again on Monday. If they lose to the Jets, we will do videos on go getting Trey Hendrickson, because then I think it makes more sense. But if you're 500 and you want to go buy somebody, why would another 500 team not want to have him? So I think like that's the issue. Is I don't think the Bengals want to sell right now. Might be available in free agency, though, this offseason. That's also very much in play. Aaron Jones, I assume not the real Aaron Jones. He's probably busy getting ready for a game. Says trade for DeMario Davis. If he's available at the right cost, yes. I don't know if he wants to leave the Saints. The Saints, I guess they have a good culture, because all those guys say they don't want to get traded. I mean, Alvin Kamara said, I'd rather retire than get traded away. Like, so good for them. Now, Davis has bounced around the NFL, too. He's been with the Jets as well. I would call, because he's an older player. He's a rental. He's not going to be very expensive. So if you can get him relatively cheap, then yes, I have interest, because I think he'd be a good fit for your defense and a big upgrade as well. From Jack Marius, boy, we are deep into the Key and Peele game today. How about bringing back Tony Pollard? I actually don't hate the idea of Tennessee selling someone like Tony Pollard. The contract is, if they trust Tajay Spears, they have to protect Cam Ward. Like, you're probably okay paying extra $2 million and not getting back a 5th-round pick, whatever, to keep your best running back. It's not that bad. It's a little bit less than $6.5 million. That's, so 3.5-ish over the course of the season. I don't know if Dallas wants to go give up assets for a running back right now. They're in a weird spot where, as long as Javonte Williams is healthy, they don't need another back right now. They have enough. Although Pollard has not done a great job this year on the ground, I don't know if that's a step has been lost. He is 28 years old now, or if it's just Tennessee's offense blows, which is a very real possibility. He's been a 1,000-yard guy for 3 years in a row. But we know he fits the Cowboys, obviously. They don't need a running back unless Javonte gets hurt. Do they want to go have an insurance? And how much would you pay for insurance? Pollard might be a little bit expensive insurance, but it's a very fine line you have to ride there. And probably for the cost, I'd say no. But injury happens. He's at the very top of the list. Do the Cowboys need another running back? 1 for yes, 0 for no. 1 or 0, let me know in the comments section of today's show. Cowboy Rob 28. You think Jerry's see how these 2 games go before pulling the trigger on a trade? I do think I think across the NFL, this is probably the mindset. There are some teams that, like, the Jets know, okay, we suck. Like, let's sell. But the deadline is the deadline. And look, Jerry says it. Deadlines do make deals. So I would not be surprised if they do want to see how these next 2 games play out, especially this one against Denver. They play on Monday night going into the Tuesday deadline, so it's a little bit tough timing-wise. But you know what? Just have an energy drink and stay up late if you need to. I would not be surprised if they do kind of play things out and go from there. Chris Haas, $10. In my opinion, this year is the only real window. Given Dak's injuries and losing in the second half of the second playoff game, consider trading Dak if the season gets away from you. Why is this kind of annoys me? Not dealing with you in particular, Chris. I appreciate your super chat. I have heard the window closed every single year on the Dallas Cowboys. Every year, I have heard, the window just closed. Every year they lose a playoff game. Well, the window's over now. They're not going to be able to go win games. It's over. And every year, well, you know what? If he's healthy, they're 500. Every single year, that's the case. I don't think this is the real window. In fact, I think next year's window is better. That's why I'm not sacrificing everything to go trade away that type of player. Like, I don't think that's the case. I also don't know what exactly by the second half of the second playoff game. Like, the first half's been the bigger issue in some of those playoff games. But, like, the Jets, no, I'm not trading him. Like, he's playing really good. Like, I'd keep that guy. And I would build the rest of my franchise around him. Next year, you've got 2 first-round picks, 2 first-round picks the year after that, and $100+ million in salary cap space. Plus, you don't save much by trading him. Like, I would go set up my window the next 3 to 4 years. And then if it doesn't work, then I can bottom out. But I would rather try to be aggressive than to just kind of punt. Or worse, do nothing like they essentially did the last 2 off seasons.